We are gonna see what a shotgun does to this ballistic gel from about 5 yards away. That's pretty devastating. What is up, everybody, and welcome to a video that has definitely never been done before here on YouTube. Today, we are gonna be testing the effective range of a couple different shotguns. Now look, I know. August, there are dozens of these videos all over YouTube. Why would I not just go watch one of those? Let me tell you. So I myself have seen many of those videos, and I've noticed one thing that's almost a constant amongst all of them. Pretty much every single one of the shotgun range videos you're gonna find here on YouTube are done with a Benelli M4. Now, is that really that important? Probably not, but most people are not gonna have either a $2,000 shotgun laying around or $2,000 laying around for a shotgun. So, I wanted to get out here and test it with some guns that more people might have their hands on to see if there's any real difference, and just to give you guys the peace of mind knowing that your shotgun is gonna perform similarly. So, that's what we're gonna do. Today, I've got two shotguns. One is the Maverick 88 Security. Now look, I know this gun looks ridiculously goofy with this stupid looking stock. I don't really know what they were thinking with this. I guess they want it to kind of look like a Spaz 12 or something. I bought this because a few months ago I wanted to see what all the hype was about, and this is the only one I could find within like 50 miles of me, and I didn't want to order one, so now I'm stuck with it. The other one, and the one that I think will resemble what most people probably have in their house, is this. My dad's old hunting Mossberg 500. Now this is a fucking gargantuan gun. This thing is like 4 feet long. Most people have a dad or an uncle or a grandpa or some sort of relative that hunts, and they probably have a shotgun. And for most people, some long-ass barrel shotgun is probably the most accessible gun they have. So obviously, while it's not ideal, if you ever were in a situation where you needed to defend yourself, you might have something that looks like this. So, that's why it's here. Now we're going to be doing a few different tests, some janky tests, I will say, keep that in mind. Some things didn't go the way they were supposed to, so this video might not be as polished as I was hoping, but we'll get there. But we're going to go from 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, 50 yards, 75 yards, and then try for 100. I don't really know if I've got what it takes to even hit the targets if they could make it, so we'll see. Okay, so you might be asking, why do this test at all? Well, movies, TV shows, video games will have most people thinking that a shotgun within like 10 feet of you is the most devastating thing ever, and honestly, probably not that inaccurate. However, a lot of people think that once you get past that immediate close range vicinity, shotguns are useless. Now obviously most of us know that's not true, but shotguns are unique. They don't shoot bullets like most guns, so eventually, at some sort of range, they do sort of become useless. But what range is that? But first, we're gonna do something pretty cool. We are gonna see what a shotgun does to this ballistic gel from about 5 yards away. That's right, guys. I'm officially a real gun channel. I bought some ballistic gel. I had to. The time was right. But we're gonna shoot this with a shotgun from 5 yards away. I Googled it, and apparently most self-defense shootings happen between 3 and 7 yards, so I split it down the middle. I want to see what a shotgun is going to do to this. Now you might be thinking, what ammo are we going to use? I'm glad you asked. Alright, so a few weeks ago, before I was really even thinking about this video, I was in Academy, and I found this ammo. It's Winchester Defender Stop the Threat. Now, I don't know if this is marketed towards people living in places where the threat is like a fucking rhinoceros, but this is a rifled slug mixed with double-aught buck. So this is a pretty nasty thing to get hit with, and it's what we're going to be doing the testing with today. Because a lot of people go back and forth on whether buckshot or slugs are better for self-defense. I figured why not just mix it and see what happens. So that's what we're using. But enough yapping. It's time to shoot some ballistic gel. Alright, so we're about 5 yards back, got the slow-mo running, our ballistic gel is ready. Let's see what happens. Okie fucking dokie. So this is 20-inch ballistic gel, and from what I can tell, did it go all the way through? No, it did not. So it looks like it stopped right here. I can see one of the buckshot pellets right here. I don't know if the other two hit. Oh no, they definitely hit. Okay, because look at this. So I've got 4 entry holes here. We got one here, one here, one here, and one here. Did the buckshot just go all the way through, or did it come out the top maybe? I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick this up, but it looks like one of our buckshot pellets came through here, started to curve, and then came out somewhere in this area. It looks like it exited right there. That's a pretty small hole, but I can see a channel all the way through there, and there's no pellets, so I figure it had to have exited. Overall, that looks pretty fucking devastating. That would definitely not feel good. This part of the wound channel right here is pretty gnarly. That's pretty devastating. So I would not want to get hit by this, that is for sure. And I don't think any living thing really would want to either. So I'd say that's a success. All right, guys. So August from the future here. Or really, I guess this is still probably August from the past for you. But it's been about a week since I filmed that intro you guys saw. I wasn't really happy with the setup we were going to have. We didn't have real targets. I was going to have to kind of MacGyver something. And I wanted something a little bit more scientific for this. So I figured we'd wait until I could get some. And then it rained for a week straight. So that's cool. Hear that? That's what happens when you buy land on a floodplain, kids. But we've got somewhat of a normal setup here. I think this will do just nicely for what we're trying to accomplish here. So, like we said, we're gonna start at 10 yards. Let's see how it does. All right, so I've got a trusty dusty rolling measuring tape here, so we're gonna get this right, okay? No guesswork. All right, so right here marks 30 feet or 10 yards. We're gonna start with the Mossberg 500. Okay, Maverick 88 time. Let's check it out. All right, so looking at the Mossberg here first, I'm gonna assume this is the wad. So I think this is the slug and these are the 3 pellets. So obviously a pretty tight grouping here. I mean, that's maybe 2 inches. Not a whole lot different than 5 yards. So still pretty devastating, obviously, if you were to get hit by this. Now this is kind of what I was expecting to see and why I wanted to do this test. Since the Maverick has such a shorter barrel, you can see the difference in spread with just an extra 5 yards. So I'm assuming this is the wad, and then we've got probably maybe a 5-inch sort of triangle here where all of these spread out, which is pretty significantly different than the Mossberg, especially at this close of a distance. So I think once we get around the 30, 50 yard mark, this is not gonna be all on the cardboard anymore. All right, back another 30 feet, extra 10 yards for a total of 20 yards. Let's see the difference. All right, so as we can see, still a very, very consistent spread here at 20 yards. I mean, at most, that might be 5 inches on this side, which is what the Maverick was spreading at 10 yards. So still pretty impressive. Now, on the Maverick, I'm assuming this is the wad, and I am only seeing 2 of the pellets coming through here. So we've got probably, I don't even know, like maybe a 10 or 11 inch spread. That's getting pretty wide. I don't know if we're gonna even be hitting it at 30, we'll see. All right, 30 yards, Mossberg, I think is gonna handle it, no problem. I may have missed a little bit. Okay, I think we might be at the edge of the viable range for the Maverick with a load like this. So, we'll see what happens. All right, so the Mossberg, we still got everything on the cardboard here. I was aiming a little bit to the right, it looks like, but that's still, you know, at most maybe 12 inches through there. That is still a very respectable spread at 30 yards. All right, so for the Maverick, this one appears to be on me. Pretty bad shot, as you can tell. It's way up there. So we're gonna do another one out of the Maverick. Okay, so something a little weird happened. Not really trying to explain this, but we've got 2 pellets on the cardboard here, but no slug, which is pretty funky. I feel like there's a little bit more distance out of this one, okay? This is kind of a weird shot. I'm just not very good with shotguns. I'll be the first one to tell you. This is probably user error. We'll chalk it up to that. All right, 50 yards out. Let's see how the Mossberg handles it. As long as I can aim correctly, I think it'll be just fine. All right, not feeling too confident about this one, not gonna lie. But here we go, Maverick 88 from 50 yards. Okay, so on the Mossberg side, it looks like we got a pellet directly next to the slug. Now, obviously, that's not a very accurate spread because the other 2 pellets are nowhere to be seen. So I think this is sort of the range where you can expect to hit the slug if you can aim somewhat decently, but the pellets are gone at this point. Now, on Maverick, interesting results as well. I blew a hole, cleaned through this wood, but that's fine. At least we hit the target. So we've got maybe I don't know, 8 or 9 inch spread there between the slug and the pellet. Obviously, I would imagine the other pellets would be somewhere in this sort of area. So a really big, pretty big spread at this point. But if you move it over here, you could see that at these ranges, you're still probably putting all your shots on target if you can manage that. Now, that's more about like your personal skill and not so much the shotgun, but it's possible. All right, so we are 75 yards out, and I will be the first one to tell you. I'm not feeling too great about my chances here, so I feel like we might cut it off here. Depending on how we do, we might take it out to 100. I don't know how realistic that is, but I think I'm gonna hit a knee here to try and give myself the best chance possible. All right, time for the Maverick. All right, so pretty much as I expected, there is nothing on this target. This is that slug. That is new, so that's where that slug came through on the most recent shot, but nothing else hit this cardboard, and that's about what I was expecting, really. And quite a similar story here on the Maverick side. Now, this is not to say that shotguns are not effective at a range like this. This is to say that shotguns are only effective if you know how to use them. I could hit something like this with an AR-15 from those distances all day, but I'm not a hunter. I don't really like shotguns, so the only time I'm using them is for videos like this. I don't practice with them, so it's not really that surprising that I can't really hit something with them. So guys, what have we learned today? I think what we learned today is that shotguns are pretty effective for a pretty long time, and they can be effective for basically any sort of range for a home defense situation as long as you are somewhat familiar with the shotgun. Like I said, I'm not a hunter, I'm not a big shotgun guy, I'm very rarely using shotguns, so I think these results are pretty realistic for the average person. I mean, keep in mind that this is the sort of spread we were looking at from 30 yards, and if you live in a house where you have more than a 30-yard sight line inside, maybe you should just hire security, okay? I know there's guys who can go out and hit targets from hundreds of yards away with slugs, but I'm not one of those people, and neither is your average person. So that's more what this was focused towards, trying to give you guys an idea of how effective a shotgun really is. And I think the answer is very. Let me know what you guys thought, and let me know what you want to see me test next. But yeah, that's really it. Thanks for watching.